Hi, this is Siofra's Magic Alcove, and I am Siofra Bradigan. So I wanted to do a quick update. I ended up going on a sort of a half emergency, spontaneous paranormal investigation crossing over thing yesterday, which was interesting because the house I went to is the same couple in the same house that had that gun that I talk about in the Haunted Objects video. And I had just been talking about that particular event uh, on Thursday with a friend of mine, and earlier this week, I think on Monday, when I was talking to another friend of mine, and I just thought how interesting that they suddenly called me up Friday morning and said they thought, in their words, they might have an infestation. I think she doesn't know what most people think an infestation means, because then her description later, when I called her back to find out more, was more like the beginning of something. It's been 10 years since I took care of the gun. An update on that: apparently not long after I went and did that, they decided to sell the gun. So I don't know if that means it became someone else's problem or we took care of it well enough that it wasn't a problem anymore, but they got it out of the house, which I just found out yesterday. So, so when I first talked to her on the phone, she said that her husband down in the basement was hearing footsteps up in the house when there should have been nobody there. Creaking boards, not really super heavy footsteps, but heavy enough that he was confident it wasn't the cat, and it wasn't his daughter because she wasn't in the house, and wasn't his wife because she also wasn't in the house. And then Friday morning, the wife was getting ready to get up in the morning, or heard a sound. She heard the sound of someone walking up the stairs, and she looked out of her bedroom door and saw what she thought was her husband, because it was a man-sized shadow figure, and didn't think anything of it until she got up a little bit later and then asked her husband, why did he go back to bed, or was he up earlier or something to that effect. And he's like, I've been in bed this entire time. And I think the seeing the shadow figure was really what prompted her to call me, because when that starts happening, the amount of energy it takes to manifest that, and the steps, they don't have a haunted house. This is not like a place that's been traditionally haunted. It seems pretty clear to me that the spirit or whatever, I didn't know yet what it was, wandered into the house. Either, again, like the gun, or something else. So I decided to go over that afternoon, early evening. It was just starting to get dark, and I got over to the house and walked in. The first thing that I noticed when I walked in the house is I started to have trouble breathing. My abilities have become a lot more physical in since the time I worked with the police to help find the dead body of the woman who committed suicide in our area. It seems to be like that a lot. So I'll get actual physical sensations of picking up something from what's going on in the house. Of course, the woman has asthma, so she didn't really notice because she thought it was just her asthma acting up. But I don't have asthma, and I generally don't have that feeling in my chest and difficulty breathing. So I was pretty confident when I walked in that something was going on. So, I basically, she showed me where she thought it was standing on the stairs to be the view for what she saw from her bedroom. And a few steps down from that, I could actually feel a cold spot, and that feeling of difficulty breathing was even stronger at that point. So I decided to do what I was going to do, like from the stairs. So I sat higher up from where I sensed the cold spot, and I didn't bring much with me because I figured if it was something that required more intricate workings, then I could come back later and bring stuff. A lot of times I like to go first and just sort of check it out and see exactly what I'm dealing with. But I did bring my selenite wand and my vanishing wand. I figured if I was going to bring anything random with me, those would be the right tools to bring. One to help me open up the portal with the light wand, and then the other to help draw and pull in any negative energy that might be left behind, or if it was a shadow person or what have you. And so I sat on the stairs and closed my eyes and was having a little bit of difficulty tuning into the energy. I could sense something was there, but it was sort of distant, like kind of not as visceral as a lot of times they are for me. The empathic ability was not connecting as strongly with this spirit, but I definitely could sense that there was something there. So I thought, okay, so I'm going to run with the idea that there is something here. And I opened up a portal first, and I used my selenite wand to do that, and just basically did a drawing of circle in the air and focused on opening that up. And then I started just talking out loud to the spirit, which is one of the things I do every time I do this. It's like I like verbalizing what's going on. It helps me to focus and connect, helps the people that are in the room to have some idea what's going on. And so I started talking to the spirit, which seemed pretty much a male energy, and said things like, I don't know for sure exactly why you're here. Don't know how long you've been stuck, but I have opened up the portal. What I need you to do is to start thinking about the people you loved and that passed before you. And, like parents, the, loved ones, sort of got into a few possibilities there and kept watching the other side. And I started to see sort of a gray house, same time frame as Victorian houses, but not a Victorian house, but it was like two-story kind of gray abode. And so I started talking about what I was seeing, and then I saw some trees come into view, then some grass, lots of grass, and then finally I started to see the door to the house open, and some people started to come out, and then I knew I'd made enough of a connection for the spirit to start to sense what was on the other side. So I started talking about that aspect, and that was when I finally started to feel the emotion. It got really strong for a few minutes. I started to feel like the urge to cry, which is pretty common when I'm crossing over a spirit. And then I felt the energy shift. The whole energy in the staircase and stuff just was suddenly different. So then I closed the portal, and the wife noticed when we were walking down the stairs that she felt different and that the energy felt different. And that's usually an indication to me that I've succeeded in changing the energy in the environment. Because if I don't feel a change and shift in the energy and how I feel, I figure I'm missing something and need to start over, go back, or check around. I think there might be a few other things in the house that are little, because I could feel something when I was going through the living room, but I didn't say anything. I just said, if anything else pops up, call me and let me know. So then she showed me around her house, and she has a Buddhist temple kind of altar set up with about 30 or 40 different kinds of Buddhas. She's very much into the Buddha. And so that was, fun. And she also likes Kuan Yin. Apparently Kuan Yin and Buddha, she sees them as compatriots, I guess, or non-conflicted. I don't know. But anyway, so we did that for a while, and then I made my leave. She had to help me get down the driveway because it was a very narrow dirt driveway in the full dark and with drop-offs on either side. So, my backup lights aren't that bright to show me like an entire road. So she stood behind and told me where to go and stuff like that and got me out of there, back on the road safely, and then I got home. So I thought it was interesting, just because it's like, had just been talking about her, and now there's something else going on in her house, but it's been 10 years, so it's not like a constant continuation or anything like that going on. So, and you guys asked for more stories, and this is the first one I've been on in a while. When I first got there, I had forgotten to talk to them on the phone to find out about their vaccination status, and so I talked to her when I got there, and she said although they were both vaccinated, her husband was having trouble. He had an intense reaction to the second shot, so they were waiting for him to get the booster shot because they didn't want to overtax him. So she asked me to wear a mask and told him to put a mask on, and so we maintained social distancing. And this is actually probably one of the main reasons why I haven't been doing much of this work in the last year and a half or 2 years, because of health concerns, safety issues, and all that stuff. And it's just like you have to decide for yourself what you feel comfortable with. And I would have felt comfortable in this situation, since everybody was vaccinated, being in her house without a mask. But the fact that she didn't feel comfortable with her husband's condition was perfectly okay and fine by me. So whenever you're going to be doing something for somebody else, clear communication is kind of essential when it comes to that. So just a short update on that, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. This has been Siofra's Magic Alcove, and I'm Siofra Bradigan. Blessed be.